Talking about the future of higher education with someone who knows higher ed better than most, Dr. Dale Caldwell, president of the Centenary University. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you again, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Hey, listen, do you mind if I do this? Our partners at NJ Biz, our media partners, put out 50 top leaders in education. Look at who's in the top 10. What number is that? 9. You're in the top 10 of top education. Go ahead.
No, man, I'm honored. There's so many incredible people. It's really a blessing to be there. So it was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not going to make a big deal that I made the list either, because I don't like the attention.
Well, you are a superstar. Everybody knows you're a superstar. So
Hey, Dale, I'm not fishing for a compliment, but I'll take it. Hey,
it's
listen.
a fact, man. It's a fact.
Let's do, I got to do this. Another publication, not NJ Biz, but the New York Times. The future of higher education. I know, Dale and I didn't even talk about this, but we share a mind sometimes, a brain. He read this. This
I have
article.
it right here.
Yeah.
I have it right here.
I'm reading it again last night saying, how many people across the country are saying higher ed doesn't have the value that it used to have? The college, the student debt that people are acquiring and what they're making because they went to college doesn't add up anymore. The economics are off. College is too expensive. Not you. That's what it says.
Yes.
Higher ed in danger? Talk to us.
Well, the reality is there are a couple of things going on. One, the middle class is disappearing. So the relative cost of higher ed has gone up, even though the actual cost really hasn't gone up as much as people think. But the research still shows you make well over $1 million across your lifetime if you go to higher ed.
So hold on 1 second. So you're saying the economics of making $1 million more, is that you saying, Dale, by itself makes higher ed or college university life warranted, even though we have one son at Syracuse, the other one at Fordham, not cheap, no scholarships, not crying the blues, but I'm sitting there going, that adds up. And we're fortunate enough to be able to do that. Most families are not. That's absurd. I don't want to say what the costs are. It's crazy what those college costs are. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's very, very expensive, but there are a couple of things. So one, innovative universities like Centenary are doing programs. We started something we'll talk a little later about called the Working BA. So you can actually go ahead, work, and still get your college degree for a very affordable price. But college also gives you intercultural competence, analytical skills, things that will help you get a better job in the future rather than just going right to work.
All right, try this. The future of higher education graphic up is also greatly impacted by the decision of the United States Supreme Court to strike down the use of race as part of the criteria that is used for high school students graduating and others trying to get into universities, particularly prestigious universities. What do you believe, Dr. Caldwell, the long-term implications are of that decision, A, and B? What are some remedies to keep the level of diversity in higher ed?
But I actually wrote an article really immediately after that decision. I was actually at the New President's Program at Harvard with about 61 other presidents, and I sent it out to them. And I said, what we have to move to is something called life circumstances admission, LCA. And the idea is to really look at the life circumstances. You know, maybe it's race impacts it, maybe gender, sexual orientation, poverty. But we need to look at every single candidate to see if they have grit, if they have what it takes to succeed. It's not just the test scores.
Describe the grit. I'm a big fan. You did our Lessons in Leadership show, our sister program with my colleague, Mary Gamba. You and I talked about grit. You and I believe in grit. You're old school. I'm old school, which just sometimes means we're old. But the reality is we believe in grit. Define it.
It's the persistence to work through any problems ahead of you. It's having emotional resilience. Is that no matter what curveballs have been thrown at you, you're able to try to work through them, and you have a commitment to success. And that's learned. It can be learned or it can be innate, but it's a critical component for being successful. We wouldn't be on here, Steve, if both of us didn't have grit. It's a key to succeeding in the world.
Also, the other key to succeeding in higher ed is collaboration, innovation, partnerships. You have a partnership, Dr. Caldwell, I want you to talk about. Is it the Cyclones partner? What is the Cyclone partnership? What does that have to do with football?
So we actually, our mascot are the Cyclones. Sussex County College are the Skylanders. So we call it the Cyclones program. And it's an incredibly innovative, we were the first to do it, where we have now 100 football and basketball players from around the world who come to Sussex College, but they don't have any place to stay. So they're staying on the Centenary campus. They're eating on the campus. They're benefiting from our social emotional development. And it's been an amazing way to integrate very diverse populations in this university. So we've become a very diverse university in one of the least diverse parts of the state of New Jersey.
Dale, the other thing about your background is you've been in state government, you've been in the private sector, but you also have volunteered, if you will, as a board of were you the president of the board in New Brunswick, president of the board of education?
Yeah, president of the board in New Brunswick. Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so you get it from the community level as well. Why is, shifting gears dramatically, why are New Jersey schools among the most segregated schools in the United States of America? It is not a new issue. It's been going on forever. Do we, Dale, my longtime friend, choose to live separately and send our kids to schools that we choose to send them to, and it just winds up, they're segregated? This is all the years after the 1954 Brown versus Board of Education. Separate does not mean equal, not okay, right? I mean, what's going on in New Jersey?
Well, I mean, the reality is that I wrote a book on influence, and people are influenced. It's influencism rather than racism or other things, is that I want to be with this group. So, we're the sixth most segregated school system in the country. Mississippi has a more diverse public school system than we do. And so I've been president, for 6 years of the New Brunswick Board of Education, which is 95% Black and Latino. East Brunswick is 80% white and Asian. Those two right next to each other, in a lot of states, they'd be combined and you'd have a very, very diverse school system.
What happens if you propose that, Mr. President? You're the president of the board. You propose it and you say, let's come together.
There are a lot of jobs that people, we hired actually Jordan Glad as my VP of advancement. Jordan, as you know, is one of the $1 a year paid czars of shared services. That's one of the things. It doesn't mean you have to lose your control of your local town.
People,
you can really have some interaction.
But part of it's economic and jobs. I'm sorry for interrupting, but I got to do. Is part of it that many people do not want their kids going to school with other kids who don't look like their kids.
Well, and the reality is that people have assumptions about groups. They have assumptions. They said, I don't want to be in those. I will say a reality about New Brunswick. I love New Brunswick, but up until middle school, it's actually fairly diverse. But in middle school, at the end of middle school, a lot of the white folks go they used to go to the Catholic schools. Now they're going to other schools. So the high school has very few white students in New Brunswick.
Dale, I want to thank you for joining us. We'll continue the conversation with Dale. And that's it for this edition. That was an awkward close. I know I've been doing this 30 years. You should get it right. We'll see you next time, folks. Thank you, Doctor. We'll see you next time.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, New Jersey Sharing Network, Citizens Philanthropic Foundation, Community Food Bank of New Jersey, PSC, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, the New Jersey Education Association, Englewood Health, and by the Adler Aphasia Center. Promotional support provided by NJ.com and by NJ Biz.
Every person and organization has a story to be told. Not just famous people, but business leaders, public servants, doctors and nurses, educators and coaches. At PSC, your story is our business. For more information, visit princetonsc.com.